This is the front entrance to our new Centennial complex. We're going to take a tour through the building, looking at where it's at this point in time. This is the bottom floor, the ground floor of this building. You can see it's open on the north side, closed underground on the south side. This will be the anatomy lab. We're told this will probably be one of the largest anatomy labs in the country. There'll be 108 tables altogether. We now call them anatomy workstations. We used to call them back in my day cadaver tables. The floor we're entering here will primarily have our global gateway over on this side, where we will be able to beam classes all over the world to help various other universities and so on. And over on this side will be our skills and assessment lab. This is a place where students will learn how to do physical diagnosis, where we have what we call actor patients or OSCE patients that are actors trained to mimic various diseases. And the students examine them and they can get a feel for them, whether they're doing it right or not. These are our two amphitheaters. The closest one is a 250-seat amphitheater. The farther one, a 350-seat amphitheater. This one is actually where the freshman medical students will spend most of their time between the amphitheater and the anatomy lab. Both of these amphitheaters will also be used for a lot of community activities, continuing education things, folks coming in for that, and so on. This is looking northwest, so the academy over here, looking on across to the freeway. But this area right out in here is going to be a major plaza, a major feature for the building. It'll be the front entrance coming out from the amphitheaters and from the building here. And in that, there'll be a garden area and a new statuary that Alan Collins, who did the Good Samaritan, is now completing. I've seen the rough mock-up of this. We've chosen to have this be the woman touching the hem of Christ's garment. And if you think about that story from the Bible, it's a rather unusual story to put in a place like this, because that's the woman that had gone to all the doctors of her day and nobody could heal her. And finally came and touched Christ's garment to be healed. So it's a constant reminder to those of us in the healing professions that there's something more than our magic that we can do to really make people whole. This is our third floor, and there are several things up here. That whole north side of the third floor will house the School of Religion, and also our Center for Christian Bioethics and our Center for Spiritual Life and Wholeness. This side of the third floor will be a number of classrooms housing anywhere from 18, 30, and 60 students in them. All of these rooms are going to be planned for what we call to be smart classrooms with anywhere, anytime learning. And what that means is that anything that happens in that classroom will be recorded, be archived, and be retrievable by a computer from anywhere in the world. One of the big issues for us in this building is bringing in utilities. So the utility tunnels, which are underground of course, connect up there in the main campus in front of Evans Hall. We'll be bringing them down across Stewart Street and entering into this tunnel here. I'm just told there's 525 feet across the front of this building. The electrical, the cold water, chilled water, heat and everything will come in from the main power plants down across Stewart Street into the end of this and be distributed across this building, and eventually on the other end it's made available, stubbed out, so that we can connect other buildings in the future. We're now on the fourth floor, the top floor of the Centennial complex. We're just finalizing all the plans for this floor, but the east tower now is planned to house our simulation lab, or sim lab as we call it. This is a place where there'll be a lot of high technology dummies, various models that are wired to simulate heart attacks or trauma or bleeding or arrhythmias, all this different sort of stuff. There's a growing feeling now that students really ought to learn for a while off of models rather than off of live patients. So this whole floor, this half of the floor is going to be dedicated to that kind of training, both for our own students and residents, but also for the community. If we look back behind me here, this of course looks up the main campus quadrangle. This will all become the Centennial Pathway. In that pathway we'll have pavers for each day of the first 100 years of Loma Linda's history. So it's 36,500 pavers that have many still available for donors to contribute to it, $100 per paver. We've also finalized historical markers within that pathway. There's about 400 of those that mark all of the significant events of Loma Linda's history. So that will come right from McGann Hall and the library with the hospital in the background, right on down into the Centennial complex. We're delighted to see the progress that is being made regularly. I'm particularly pleased as I walk across these floors to realize that California Portland Cement have donated all the cement for this building. And we see their blue Chaparral cement trucks arriving daily, providing the cement that's made this building happen. So we're very appreciative to Jim Repman, the president, and the others of that company that have been very generous in assisting us with this building. Thank you for joining us on this tour of this new Centennial Complex at Loma Linda University. For more information about the Centennial Complex and donor opportunities, please visit our website at lou.edu.